And I'll call us to order. The first thing we will do is have a roll call.
Okay. Katie Ashley, Hal Bynum,
Here.
Chris Caldwell,
Here.
Louise Hagler.
I'm here and there's no one with me.
Thank you. Devin Majors.
Here.
Art Sparks.
Here.
Julia Wells. Here. Thank you. You have a forum.
Thank you. We want to remind everyone that this is a special call meeting. We will be limited just to the items that are on the particular agenda here. Moniz has already gotten ahead of us. I was supposed to remind everyone on the phone that they also had to identify anyone who was present with them, and she's already taken care of that. When Katie calls in, we will ask her the same thing. I will also remind everyone that any votes we have, because not everyone is here, will have to be roll call votes. And again, that's fine also. The first item that we have, and I don't really have any opening remarks here because we will be meeting, as we all know, in a couple of 3 weeks after tax season. And the first thing we have is we have been asked to have some amendments and approve the amendments to the advisory board bylaws. I'm assuming that everyone have read these. Very, very small. They're more cosmetic adjustments than anything else. Section 3.2 just has a couple of words added in the manner determined by the advisory board, which we hopefully will be discussing a little bit later. Section 4.2 wanted to clarify that this particular section will not be construed by constraining a faculty member from not being able to act in their normal, doing their normal duties and pursuing externally funded contracts or grants from the university. So we want to make sure that was clarified. Notice of meetings in section 7.4 is being modified to have at least 7 days in advance of the meeting. The notice will go out. The agenda, section 7.6, there's a point there that the agenda with any proposed resolutions or reports shall be available to all the advisory board and made publicly available at least 7 days in advance of the meeting, which I think is very good. Section 7.9 is that the minutes, including any resolution, will be on the advisory board website, which I'm not even sure where there it is. If you could send out to all of us on exactly where that website is.
I will.
Those are the amendments that have been suggested to us. Is there any discussion, or first, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? And we have a second. Is there any discussion about these particular amendments or any questions as to what their purpose might be? Hearing none, then I will call for a roll call vote. Edie?
Katie Ashley, have you joined us? Hal Bynum,
Yes.
Chris Caldwell,
Yes.
Louise Hagler,
Yes,
Devin Majors,
Yes.
Art Sparks,
Yes.
Julia Wells.
Yes.
You have a unanimous approval, so you have approved.
Thank you. You did note that the revised bylaws with these revisions were included in the packet. I would invite each one of you to take those things and substitute with the old ones so that you have the current. The second one is the approval of modification to the student member appointment process. I believe after we passed the particular process last time, there's been some further discussion. Pardon? Katie, was that you coming on?
No.
Okay. I believe there has been some discussion about the possibility of changing or modifying it slightly on how we put the student member on there. I apologize, but I'm simply going to read exactly what it is so that we're extremely clear on what's going on. Modification to the student member appointment process approved by the advisory board at its initial meeting on January the 9th is proposed. The proposed modification delegates to the chancellor authority to make appointment after completion of a process corresponding to the current UT Martin student government election process. The proposed modification will mitigate time constraints presented by UT Focus Act requirements that the appointment be made by April 15th of each year. If the student member is unwilling to serve or becomes ineligible to serve during the one-year term, the chancellor shall have the authority to appoint a qualified student member to complete the unexpired term. The proposed modification is consistent with proposed bylaws amendment, clarifying that the student appointment is made in a manner determined by the advisory board. There are some additional pages in here that we are not voting on, but it's just for our information as far as what the selection process will be and what the student representation qualifications will be, and then ultimately the student representative nominee pledge form that he will have to sign. And I will entertain a motion that we accept the approval of this modification to the student member appointment process. So moved. All right, I've got a first, I've got a motion, and I've got a second. Is there further discussion on this? I think this gives us a little flexibility and everything that is very necessary. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor, we'll have to have a roll call vote.
Katie Ashley, Hal Bynum,
Yes.
Chris Caldwell,
Yes.
Louise Hagler,
Yes,
Devin Majors,
Yes.
Art Sparks,
Yes.
Julia Wells.
Yes.
We have a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Item number 5 becomes mute at this point because it was in there just in case we did not pass the item that was known in running before. Keith, you want to make any comments on that?
Sure.
Or Chancellor, excuse me.
Keith's fine. Keith's fine. Thank you for doing that. I just want to say that I think allowing the students to have a voice in the SJ elections, and obviously this year was sort of a truncated process going through, but having the students qualify and nominate by vote the 3 top vote getters, and then for those people to be able to then have an interview process is a good way. And I was really pleased with what the students have come up with, and it is now the appropriate time to give my recommendation. We had 3 outstanding candidates, and I wish I could take all of them. As a matter of fact, 2 of them I'm deploying into other activities that I'm doing out of my office now as a result of Dr. Caldwell and I talking with them. But I'm choosing and like to bring forward Ms. Lauren Carter. Lauren is a freshman political science major. She's an out-of-state student. She's from Olive Branch, Mississippi, just across the line, and has been real involved in SGA and some other activities. And I think she would be a great voice for students here on our campus. Be happy to entertain any questions.
Her last name's Carter.
C-A-R-T-E-R. If it was Carver, I wouldn't have selected her.
Can we have a clarification because she's not from Crockett County?
Yes, she is. She is not. She is not. She's driven through.
Okay. Well, I've driven through it, so okay. It's my understanding then that she will come on
Yes,
on the 15th.
that is correct. Yes. No, it'd be
In June.
after in June.
Okay.
In June.
Devin
So
has-
Devin, we have Devin for a bit longer.
Okay, I
The
misunderstood.
April 15th is by statute, we have to identify who those
Okay.
people are, but they don't come on until June.
I misunderstood because I thought you said that this was Devin's last meeting. But it
The
was-
24th
The
was.
24th will be. Okay.
Yes.
Devin, we're not going to say anything good about you
Not
today.
sure.
Okay.
Isn't it true that they actually come on in July?
Yeah, June 30th that would be.
Yeah, so I think that was
Yes.
through June 30th.
Right.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure you get your pay through June 30th.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Next thing we want to do is look at the revised schedule of the meetings. Really, the only thing this does is it puts before the board the fact that we have moved or asked to move the April 26th meeting to April 24th, which happens to be on a Wednesday, I believe.
Correct.
Is there a motion that we approve the revised schedule of the advisory board? Okay.
Second,
We've got a second. Not going to really ask for a lot of discussion there, so Edie, if you'll take the roll call vote on that.
Katie Ashley, Hal Bynum,
Yes.
Chris Caldwell,
Yes.
Monique Sagler,
yes.
Devin Majors,
Yes.
Art Sparks,
Yes.
Julia Wells.
Yes.
You have a unanimous approval.
Okay. Couple of things in my closing remarks. There is a suggested agenda for the April 24th meeting, and the suggested amendment, we have that on the script? We don't have that on the screen. I'll run through it real quick. The approval of minutes, obviously. We will have UT board update of the process for the campus advisory board to submit a recommendation to the president on the proposed strategic plan. We will have a UT board update on the process for campus advisory board to submit a recommendation to the president on the proposed annual operating budget, including tuition and fees as related on the campus. It has been suggested that we have a fundraising report, which I think would be good. Suggested that we have an enrollment management strategies, which I think would be excellent. And then the last item, unless something you want added, will be the tuition and fees overview for UT Martin. And I think those I think that meeting will probably last a little longer than this one, but I think those are excellent things for us to discuss and just jump in and get our feet wet. Does anybody have any suggestions of anything else that you would like to look at? Hearing none, that's not really anything that we have to make a motion on or anything. I just throwing that out for information. I don't really have any closing remarks other than remind everybody that we're in a fundraising campaign right now, and if you haven't gotten an email, then you need to check your email, because you probably got 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 over the last few days. Chancellor, do you have anything to add?
Just two quick things. Probably right now, as we're sitting here in social media and updates are going out. Just had Captain's Challenge this week, and our students, faculty, and staff turned on their fundraising hats, and for 24 hours, the goal was to raise $300,000 online. I want to tell you that we hit $319,000, and the very last gift, and the gift that put us from over 319 was Joe Johnson, our former UT president, 2-time University of Tennessee president. So we're happy he closed us out. He closed us out because he refuses to make online gifts, so he FedExed a check. Joe Johnson would, but it made it in on time, and for Joe Johnson, we'll accept that, which was great. The other announcement yesterday, we had our spring faculty meeting. Randy Boyd came over to answer questions for about Dr. Caldwell was here 2 hours. About an hour and a half, 2 hours. Had a great response. That's all archived online. If you want to see that, talked a lot about the UT Promise and some areas that he's going. It's obvious he's very supportive of our campus, and he's showing that. He's been here. I've given him an invite to come and join us for our September meeting, which I think he's going to make happen. He likes coming over here. He's got a lot of relatives here, and I hope he'll join us in September. He'll say nice things about you at that meeting too, definitely. So,
He has a lot of relatives in Crockett County.
yes, he does.
He may have more in Obion County than he does.
I knew that
I
was.
don't know, Forest Bank is pretty big.
That's right.
The only other thing I would like your approval on, I think it would be appropriate to ask Lauren to be at our April 24th meeting if she possibly could, since she will be coming on the board. And it'll give her some background and some idea of what expectations are and what we're trying to do. She then, starting July 1st, will be able to hit the road running, unless somebody has an issue with that. I would ask if there's any more business to come before this board, but there can't be. Thus, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. Second, there can be no discussion. Does that have to be a roll call?
No, it does not. We
Okay.
don't.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Manise, for calling in.
Bye-bye.
All right.